Harbor Bee, Chapter 8. The following Monday, right after dinner, my uncle put a recorder on the table. It was small enough to hold in my hand. It's charged for now, he said, but I can show you how to do it. He looked at me. By the way, what kind of school project is it? I don't really know what it is yet. It's like your stories. How so? I just want to record stuff, I told him. And then I want to see what it becomes, you know? I want to be able to listen to it later and figure out what it is, I guess. I turned the recorder around and around in my hands. Thanks for getting this. Can I be excused since it's your night for dishes? My uncle nodded, then frowned at me. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. I ran up the stairs to my room. The comforter on my bed had a purple unicorn on it. Once I had thought I was going to die if my uncle didn't buy it for me, and now, climbing onto it, it suddenly seemed silly and childish to me. How had what I liked changed that fast? I clicked the recorder on and held it in my lap. I recorded the sound of my own voice. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3, then played it back. My voice sounded babyish and high. I got up, brushed my teeth, and put on pajamas. Then I climbed into bed and turned the recorder on again. My name is Haley Shondell McGrath. I am 11 years old. My father is in prison, my mother is dead. But don't feel sorry for me. I don't remember her. My uncle says I have her eyes. McGrath is an Irish name. It means son of grace. But this McGrath right here is somebody's daughter. Ms. Laverne has put the six of us in the art room. We are going to go there every Friday for an hour to talk. Me, Amari, Ashton, Esteban, Holly, and Tiago. Our story starts in Miss Laverne's class in the borough of Brooklyn in the city of New York. But it's a story on top of a story. It's a story that started out and ended a whole bunch of times. When we were studying in the history of New York, we talked about the Lenape people. They were the real native New Yorkers. But it wasn't called New York then. Their name for it was Lenape-Hoking. But then the Dutch settlers killed them and took their land. That means wherever we put a single foot, it's land that belonged to the Lenape. It's land they might be buried under. It's land that they died for. Ms. Laverne said that we should always remember this, that even though we have our dreams, the Lenape had dreams too. That even though we're here now, they were here first. I think this is what the world is. Stories on top of stories, all the way back to the beginning of time. Ms. Laverne asked if we were living in the Lenape-Hoking. Would we fight alongside Lenape, or would we try to take the land for ourselves? We all said we'd fight with them. We all said we'd try to help them hold onto their land. I turned the recorder off. When we told Miss Laverne we'd fight with Lenape, she said, "But then maybe you wouldn't be here now, in America." When she asked that question, none of us said anything for a while. We just all looked around at each other. "It wouldn't be America, but it would look like us," Holly finally said. "It would look like this classroom, I think, because we would figure out how not to just take something. And the Lenape people would probably share with us too. And then we'd all mix together," Tiago said. Before Ms. Laverne talked about the Lenape, I hadn't really thought about the people who came here before we did. Indians were just Indians with big crowns of feathers, hopping around in circles and hitting their hands to their mouths. But after we learned about the Lenape people, I couldn't do that hand thing anymore. I couldn't see the people wearing their feathers at football games on TV and on Halloween and not think that's not right. That's not the truth. When I told Miss Laverne that, she smiled and said, "Exactly." Then she smiled even bigger and said, "I love this class so much," which made us all feel amazing. I turned the recorder back on. Miss Laverne said, "Every day we should ask ourselves, if the worst thing in the world happened, would I help protect someone else? Would I let myself be a harbor for someone who needs it?" Then she said, "I want each of you to say to the other, I will harbor you. I will harbor you." Somewhere in the house, my uncle was playing his guitar. Beneath it, I could hear the soft hum of the dishwasher. He strummed the same chords over and over, then moved up the frets and strummed something different. The music trembled through the house. I stared at the wall across my bed. The only thing on it was a painting of a dark brown girl sitting at a piano, her back to me, her arms spread across the keys. There was something about the shape of her shoulders that made me think of Esteban. Something both sad and proud at the same time. I pressed the cold metal of the recorder to my cheek and stared at the picture for a long time. One day, it too would be gone. The one time we took it down, there was a pale square behind it, as though the sun had tanned the wall around the painting. And that, my uncle said about it, is all she wrote. Put the picture back, I had said to my uncle, turning away from it. Now, please. Calm down, Hales. My uncle gave me a what's the big deal look. It's just a wall. But it was empty, and I didn't want to believe that was all there was. That when one thing went away, just the pale ghost of it remained. I wanted to believe in stories on top of stories. Always something else. Always one more ending. I put the recorder under my pillow. My hands were shaking. I knew Holly wouldn't have a problem with letting me record her, but I didn't know about the boys. One thing I wanted more than anything in the world was, was to hear what my mother sounded like. Was her voice high like mine? Did she have an accent? A lisp? I would never hear it again. Her voice was dust now. But if the others let me, I'd be able to keep a little part of us. I'd be able to keep this story forever.